everyone, and welcome to day 9 of Eat, Shrink and Be Merry in Lockdown. Today is all about getting your questions answered, so thank you so much for sending those in. Just before we jump into those, obviously I just want to recap on yesterday when we did all about the skinny on sauces, dressings and dips. I really hope I made you rethink what's in the sauces you use and how can you redo them, rejig them to make it healthier for you, your health and weight goal. If you make them at home, then, or if you don't and you're considering making them at home, then think about can you swap out the healthier substitutes of low-fat creams, yogurts, sour cream, milk, things like that to make it healthier for you. And perhaps add in some other flavors that zoop it up without all the fat and the calories. If you do buy them, obviously think about the calories, the carbs, the chemicals or preservatives, the high fructose corn syrup, and the sodium that go into them. And depending on how much and how often, that's a lot going into your body and into your system. So really become your own sleuth or your own detective when you go shopping for these sauces and dressings and dips. I know it's a little bit time consuming, but once you find the ones you like, then it's just press and repeat, so it becomes easy. And think about the portions you're having. Does it really need to go over the whole of your meal? Can you perhaps just have it on the side and just reduce the amount you're having just to make it healthier for you and your goal? Okay, all right, let's jump into questions then. All right, first of all, first question. Dawn, is there any kitchen equipment you'd recommend? Well, yes, absolutely. A number of these equipments I don't have to show you because I did own them, but that was in America before I moved back and I got rid of so much stuff. So the first thing was I did get a little pair of flat scales. They're flat so that you can put your food or anything either on the flat glass plate, or you can put it in a bowl or dish or plate on top and measure it out. And get one that has ounces and grams. I found that really useful because when I was losing weight, because I put on a lot of weight when I first moved to America, when I was losing weight, I really wanted to measure out my quantity of protein, whatever it might be. So that was really important to me. And for people who need to focus on the amount they're eating, then that would be worthwhile getting. The other things I would recommend, which actually I still use, is a cup and half cup measurer. I use these for my breakfast. I have a cup of fruit and half a cup of cottage cheese or Greek yogurt. It's a habit that works for me, so why would I stop doing it? So that works really well. If I don't have cottage cheese and yogurt, then I have eggs, and either I scramble those in a little pan, or I do use the microwave. And I know the microwave is controversial for how healthy is that. But again, it really is finding whatever works for you and your lifestyle. I like it, it's quick and easy. So you can have things, I use this one for eggs in the microwave. I can do various things in that, and I just put an egg in with some egg beaters or egg whites. You can also find the ones for microwave that look like 2 poached eggs together, the poachers together, and then you can find the half moon omelette maker, which is great for lunches and dinners. You can just throw eggs and egg beaters in and whatever else you want with it. So that works really well. Okay, what else? George Foreman grill. I love this for cooking my meats or my fishes. This is just a small one. You can get large ones, and it has the 2 grill pans inside. I hope you can see that. As it also has this that you just put in underneath to catch all that fat, the unhealthy fats that come off meats and chicken and turkey. They really are the bad fats, so you need to get rid of those. So that works really well for that. Also, obviously, if you want to get yourself a wok or a deep frying pan, obviously not to fry, but to deep fry, but just to use a light spray oil, this is a little spray oil, this is a spray sunflower oil, and you just spray in to do your wok frying or fry some other things. Great if you have a lid because it helps just sort of cook it and steam it in. So that works really well. Talk about steaming in. I did used to own a steamer. You can get ones that you put everything, your whole meal in, and just leave it. So you put your vegetables in one layer, fish or chicken, whatever it is, in the next layer, and just leave it to cook your meal. So that is really healthy. If not, you can buy these little metal perforated things that open up inside your saucepan, and you put a little bit of water in the bottom, and it just steams your food. Because as I say, steaming keeps the nutrients in your food rather than just plonking it all into water, and all your nutrients get boiled out into the water. You can obviously also buy a slow cooker, which means, again, you can just know that you're going to get a healthier meal because you throw everything into that, leave it for the hours to cook, and when you come back and you're hungry, you've got something healthier to go to. So that's a really good option as well. The other things I do like, again, which I don't have right now, because once you've got rid of loads of stuff, you know, it's hard to replace because it's nice to do that clear out. But I had a spiral slicer. I mentioned this in another session where I used it to make, with a zucchini spaghetti. It's great. Or you can do slices or all sorts of different shapes for vegetables and salads and things. So it's just great fun, let alone great to make you eat healthier. And last but not least, the thing I do have is my soda stream. So I can have soda water here without having the plastic bottles around, which is my little bit for the planet. But also, obviously, it stops the bulky bottles stocking up the fridge or the cupboard. So that works for me, and then I just put my flavors in, as I've already said before. So I hope that helps. That's some of the equipment I have and I would recommend. Next question. You don't talk much about organic foods. What are your thoughts? Well, it does really, I suppose, come down to individual preference because of cost. But I do just want to give you some facts. Where it comes to meats, I would tend to buy organic, but particularly red meat. And this is because of all the antibiotics and in America, the growth hormones. Not quite sure if they are still used over there and they're not used here, but definitely the antibiotics in meat and in chicken and poultry as well. It's just, you don't want those in your milk either, so I'd get dairy products, organic or farm raised, just so you cut down on the amount of antibiotics. Obviously, if it's farm raised, it just means they roam free. It doesn't mean they're organic, so they still have the antibiotics. So that would be organic, so they don't. So you've got to choose what's right for you. Do bear in mind, if you do like steaks or beef, then grass-fed beef is really healthy because not only what you buy is pure lean meat, it also is packed full of omega-3 fatty acids, which are really healthy for you, and it has more in it per gram than wild-caught salmon. So it's really healthy. So expensive, but at least you're not cutting off money, fat, and throwing it away before you eat it. So there's a thought. Okay, when it comes to fish as well, it is a difficult one now because of all the mercury in the sea, but I still would buy wild caught salmon when available. So that's a difficult one, or whether you go for farm raised. But at farm raised, I think they still put some other stuff in the feed. So, you know, it's got to be your decision. Okay, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, I wouldn't be so strict on that. I would definitely focus on the meat. Oh, just another thing on the meat as well with the chickens. You know, you've seen all the programs about how the chickens are raised so intensely, so close together, so they can't even walk. Gram for gram, they are more fat in them than a Big Mac. Just something to think about. So at the very least, buy cage-free, or you know, I think it's called cage-free, isn't it? So yeah, okay, back to your fruits and vegetables. So really with them, you've got to think about the pesticides that are sprayed on them like crazy. And you can get a list called the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen 2020. New one bought out every year, printed off online, and it will show you all the vegetables and fruits that have pesticides, the worst pesticides or the largest quantity in them, and the cleanest. So print that off. The key thing for you to know now is that pesticides are systemic. A lot of them now are systemic, which means even if you wash or you peel your fruit or vegetables, the pesticides go right through the entire contents. So just washing or peeling is not going to get rid of those pesticides. You just need to know that. Also, the logical obvious things are the fruits and vegetables that grow above ground that attract the most flies, like your strawberries, your grapes. You know, those are going to be the ones that have the most pesticides on them. You'll see that in that list if you print it off. All right, okay. Oh, and obviously when you get them, you need to wash them. So I would actually I do wash them with this veggie wash. Just leave it on for a couple of minutes and it just gets all the dirt and some surface pesticides if that's what you want to do. When we get back to normal, the other way is if you always shop locally sourced or a farm nearby, obviously that's going to be healthier because they're going to have more nutrients left in them. Okay, I hope that's helped. Next question. I often get hungry late at night. Is it okay for me to eat or should I try not to? Well, okay. I'm sure lots of people have different answers to this. My thought is it's okay with a but or with a couple of buts. It really does depend how much and what you're eating, because when you go to sleep, obviously all the food you've eaten is going to get digested and you're not going to be using it overnight, so it will turn to fat. So you just need to be aware of that. So think about what you're having and how much, and just have enough to satiate that desire if you have to, or maybe have a drink instead. Obviously not too much because you're going to be getting up using the bathroom. But if you just have something, just think about what you're having. And that's why a lot of people tend to stop eating earlier in the evening, because it just gives their body time to digest that food and everything. So really, and then it's really about the bigger picture. What else are you having during the day? Have you really had enough? Is it just overeating? And again, depends on what your health and weight goals are. So in the bigger picture, it's probably okay. Just be careful how late and how much. Okay, next question. Dawn, what are your thoughts on detoxing, fasting, and intermittent eating? That is a big question, and obviously quite controversial topics actually. So I'm just going to give you my take. So detoxing. I really believe if you clean up your lifestyle of what you can control, as in your food, your sleep, your hydration, you exercise to sweat all the toxins out, but particularly focusing on your hydration and food where you have a big impact, then you really clean them up by getting rid of the sugars, the white foods, the alcohol, the caffeine. You alkaline your water and eat more alkaline foods, or your dark green vegetables. That is going to naturally detox your body, and it will pull all those toxins out. So I really believe more in that than I do in having a cabbage diet for 5 days, something like that. I know in America when I put on all the weight and went on a healthier diet, I saw it not only in my weight, but in my skin and my energy and everything. So those toxins, once they're out your body, you just feel more alive than ever, and you will see the difference. So I would do it that way. I think it's a more natural way to do it than mess around with your metabolism by not eating or, just drinking cabbage soup. Just my thoughts. Okay, fasting and intermittent eating or fasting. This is a huge topic, and best you might want to read about it yourself. So I don't think there's any harm in some of it. Intermittent fasting, if you think about it, if you finish eating dinner, a lot of people finish eating dinner, say at 6, and they don't eat anything until the next morning for breakfast. And so really you're giving your stomach a lot of rest. And that does actually feel good. And particularly during the day, if you definitely have your breakfast and then leave it quite a few hours before lunch or something, that gives your body time to just relax, digest. If you can't, it's fine. I'm just saying some people like to. I certainly wouldn't do it for more than a day if you're going to do it, because I really do believe you'll then start to mess with your metabolism. And remember, this is a very efficient machine. You don't want your body to start dipping into those glycogen stores in your muscles, which if you're moving around, you still need energy from somewhere. So just be aware of the full-on dominoes effect. Okay, hope that's helped. Next question. You talk about those alkaline drops. Do you use a water filter? Well, funnily enough, yes, I did. So in America, I had an alkaline machine that attached to the tap. You can go underneath the sink, by the sink. You can get them. It just doesn't attach to the tap I have right now. But you can alter the pH, the alkaline balance that you have. And so everything you drink, you cook in, all that water just comes out with that alkaline pH balance. It's fantastic. So you can look into those. I just use a very basic water filter right now, a Brita water filter. I know it's very, very basic. It's not the best one over here, just one you can just fill up and use. And I do believe the water in England is fairly clean. Again, look into what suits you. And your budget, of course. The ones that attach to your tap are expensive, but worth it, depending on where you live and what your needs are. All right, due to an injury, next question. Due to an injury, I can't exercise and I'm worried I'll put on weight. What can I do? Well, I empathize completely and I'll tell you about that in a moment. First things, you don't tell me what injury you've got, so it's difficult to know how to advise. So obviously if it's lower body, you can still use weights and stuff to do your upper body. If it's upper body injury, you can still do squats and stuff for your lower body, various things. So I don't know what injury it is. 9 months ago, I actually started jogging again and I damaged both my feet, more for me. And I still can't, they're still injured. I still can't do high impact stuff. So very frustrating, but there's so much more low impact, still using your body and weights, your furniture, Pilates, yoga. There's so much else you can still do. That will build up a sweat, so don't worry about that. So that will help as well. What was I going to say? Oh yes, and the other thing that's really important is in America, in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, actually I lost count, I got so consumed with my business and it got so busy that I actually stopped working out and exercising. And this was after exercising definitely 5 or more days a week. So I'm not proud of it. I say it to the fact that I still stayed in shape. My weight still stayed the same. So it's about focusing on what you can control. And you can control your sleep, hydration, your food intake, and your exercise, and your mindset. And so focus on those things because abs really are made in the kitchen. If you do eliminate all those things, as I said earlier, the alcohol, the caffeine, or just reduce things, reduce your portions, have more good food instead of bad food, you can keep your weight down and keep yourself healthy. So do know that it can be done. You don't have to exercise to lose weight. There's many more healthy benefits of weight than just losing the exercise than just losing weight. So hopefully that helps. So focus on what you can control on. Okay, last question, I'm afraid. Can you go over cooking techniques once again? Oh, absolutely, yes. So in my mind, deep frying is out of the question. Or cooking in pastry, unless you just cook it in pastry and then eat the contents, which I've done many a time. So deep frying, no, because it's just all that fat gets absorbed into the food, unless you do high temperature flash frying. Try and say that quickly. So do that, and then think about the oils you're using. Like for example, this spray oil is sunflower oil. Use that, or olive oil. There are different oils, and depends on temperature you're cooking with, what oil you can use. But this is great because you spray this into the frying pan. So that's just, again, thinking about healthier swap outs and alternatives. So obviously baking, grilling, poaching, steaming, broiling, all these different ways you can cook food. And the way you can zoop them up for flavor is to use more herbs and spices. And then we've gone over sauces and dips and dressings, so you can really make them flavorful without the need to deep fry and have all that extra saturated fat and calories that you just don't need. It will weigh you down and make you feel horrible and lethargic anyway, even if your goal is not to lose weight. So yeah, I hope that helps. Okay, well, thank you so much again, as I say, for your questions. That's all we have time for today. I'm so glad these sessions are benefiting you. Tomorrow is the last session, and it will be all about how you can speed up your healthy lifestyle mind shift. As you know, I'm all about the mindset and mind shift, so it's how to speed that up. So we'll be going over that. So please join me. Do share this around, do hit subscribe so you get notified of this and any more videos I do. Otherwise, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.